Good morning and happy Thursday to you, my friends, and welcome back to Energy Express. This morning we're going to start off talking about something that's very important. Water. It's something we play in, it's something we swim in, it's something we drink, it's something we need to live. Let's learn how here in West Virginia, we're treating acid mine drainage and turning it into water that can be released into our springs, rivers, and lakes.
Welcome, here we are. I'm Jeff Skousen. I am a professor of soil science and also the reclamation specialist in West Virginia. We are here at a place called TNT, just north of Kingwood, West Virginia. And this is a unique site because it's one of the areas where we are treating acid mine drainage to clean up the water before it's discharged into streams and rivers in the state. So I stopped here to tell you a little bit about how acid mine drainage is formed, how it's treated, and how it's cleaning up streams in the state. The TNT site is actually owned and operated by the West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection, a state agency. And so the money that is used to treat the water here comes from coal operations and also funds from other watershed groups. So the way acid mine drainage forms is in our region here in the northern part of West Virginia, we have high sulfur coal. And what that means is that there's pyrite that's associated with the coal and the rocks just overlying the area. So when coal miners come in and mine the coal and remove it, this pyrite reacts with the oxygen and water and then forms acid, sulfuric acid. And that drops the pH. It also releases metals into the water. And then that's what gives it that distinct orange or yellow color. And so as this material reacts, that's what forms acid mine drainage. All of these areas, all these mines around us here have this kind of pyrite that's in the rocks. And so as a result, all of them produce acid mine drainage. In the old days, that acid mine drainage wasn't treated. It just went straight to the streams. But about 50 years ago, they started passing laws like the Clean Water Act and the Surface Mining Control and Reclamation Act. Those laws required not to discharge acid mine drainage and to come up with ways to stop it from occurring at all. Pyrite is a unique mineral. It sometimes is called fool's gold because it has this dull, luster-like gold. Gold is more shiny than this, but pyrite, which is an iron sulfide, has this sort of goldish, dull look. So we have a number of these sites that are still producing acid mine drainage that we now drain to treatment plants, and we try to treat it before we release it. So this particular plant is a really nice remotely controlled plant. It treats it with lime, mixes with lime, and the acidity and the alkalinity mix and neutralize each other, and then the metals that are in the water then precipitate or are settled in these big clarifiers. The water that comes out of this is very clean, and in fact I'd like to walk over here to the outlet where you can see where it's discharged into Muddy Creek. This stream called Muddy Creek that you'll see here in a minute has always been orange and had bad water quality until this treatment plant was built. The TNT treatment plant that we have here is one of about a half a dozen of these kinds of plants in the state. And these plants are built where some of the worst acid mine drainage problems are. But the result of what these plants do is, as you saw, that you have clean water that's going into this stream. This stream is called Muddy Creek, and it goes down about 3 miles down to the Cheat River, which most of you have heard of. That's a major whitewater rafting, beautiful recreational river. And so cleaning up Muddy Creek, which was essentially half, about 50% of the acid that was in that river, has now all been cleaned up. And so the impact that these treatment plants have on water quality in the state is tremendous. Like I say, there's still a few more that are coming online that are going to take care of some other problems in other parts of the state. But that's what I wanted to show you, is how important these treatment plants are to improving the water quality in our state. All right, we're standing here at the outlet of where the clean water comes out from the treatment plant. The water that comes into the treatment plant has a low pH, like around 3, and has a lot of metals in it. Like the iron concentration might be 300 milligrams per liter. But after it goes through the plant, the lime reacts with it, all the iron drops out, and all that you have left is high pH water with no metals in it. And so this treatment plant is really effective at removing the contaminants that are in the water. And in fact, even though it looks orange here, it is clean and clear water. All right, I brought you to this place. We're right at the intersection of Route 27 and Woolen Mill Road. And on this side, this is the upper part of Muddy Creek. It drains an area up around Brandonville. There's very little mining up there, and there's no acid mine drainage. And so this is an extremely clean stream with good benthic macroinvertebrates and fish in it right here. On this side, there's a stream behind me up here that drains a large area that had been mined with that pyrite in it. And as a result of that, the water in Martin Creek is very bad. And it's unfortunate that this wonderful clean stream then is impacted or almost destroyed by Martin Creek that comes in right here. And so once Martin Creek comes in all the rest of the way down to Muddy Creek, it's contaminated until the water goes into the TNT treatment plant, where it's cleaned up again before it's released on the rest of the way.
Well, now that we've learned all about the importance of reclaiming water, let's learn how we can keep it in our bodies. That's right, we're going to talk about the water that we drink, and how we might change some of our habits to rethink our drink. Let's head over to Gwen and learn more.
Hi, I'm Gwen Crum from the WVU Extension Office in Wood County. Today we're going to focus some time on the importance of drinking water. Staying hydrated is important for our bodies. Water makes up approximately 60% of the human body. Think about how a plant wilts when it doesn't get enough water. You might not look wilted, but your body doesn't function properly when you don't have enough water and aren't hydrated. Water is important to help us regulate our body temperature, it keeps our cells functioning properly, and it helps us get rid of waste. Dehydration can actually make you sick. You won't be focused, and you may make you feel very tired. We get water from almost anything we drink, but drinking water itself is still really important. Sports drinks and soda have a lot of sugar, and they might give you a lot of short-term energy, but that energy fades quickly and you end up feeling sluggish. I often hear people say they don't like the taste of water, so I'm going to show you some tricks to help with that. The best way to improve the taste of your water is to add your favorite fruit. I like to add some lemon or lime slices to the water I'm drinking. It won't make your water sweet or tart, but it does give it a little bit of boost. You might want to let it sit for a few minutes before you drink it. If you prefer strawberries or watermelon, that's also something that can boost your water and give it some flavor. Cucumber is also a great addition to water to give it a little bit of flavor. And you can also buy mint in the produce section, which can perk up your water and make it taste great. Herbs like basil and rosemary also are a great addition to give water some flavor. I'm now going to show you how to make some fruit infused water that you can share with your whole family. One of my favorite recipes is to take oranges and pineapples and put in your water. So it's just really simple. I'm going to take this orange and I'm going to slice it. You can leave the rind on. There's some flavor in that rind, and so I like to leave that rind on. I'm going to take an orange and I'm going to put it in a pitcher. I'm also going to take some fresh pineapple. You can use canned pineapple, but just make sure that you're using pineapple that's in juice and not in any kind of syrup or water. And so I'm going to take all this pineapple from this container and I'm going to put this in this jar, pitcher here that I have. And then I'm going to add a gallon of water or fill the pitcher up with water. You can use water from your faucet or your tap, whatever you have available. And then you can set this in your refrigerator and you can use it probably 2 or 3 times. You could refill it with water before this fruit is going to lose its flavor. Be creative and think about lots of different recipes or things that you like that would make your water taste better, and just experiment and try what you think would work. There are lots of theories about how much water you should drink in a day, and a lot of that information is going to depend on your height, your weight, and how active you are. Your body temperature also determines that. For instance, if you're outdoors in the sun or if you're feeling ill and you're running a fever, the amount of water you need is going to vary. Regardless of any of that, I encourage you to drink at least 1 glass of water as soon as you wake up each morning. If you slept all night and you haven't had anything to drink, your body has definitely already started the process of dehydration. I would also encourage you to drink at least 1 glass of water with each meal or snack that you eat throughout the day. And also, if you're going to be physically active, try to make sure you drink a glass of water before you start any kind of workout so that your body is going to stay hydrated during your activity. Staying hydrated is the most important way to make sure our bodies and minds are functioning properly.
Well, now that we have rethunk what we're drinking and how we're drinking it, let's learn a little bit more about an activity that I think is really cool. Let's go visit our friend Josh and do another try this at home experiment and make a binary bracelet.
Hi, I'm Joshua Meadows, and I'm a professional technologist with West Virginia University Extension Service. Today we're going to be doing one of our try this at home experiments. So this is try this at home experiment number 8, and it's called binary bracelets. So we'll go ahead and open the kit, but you can do this experiment even if you don't have a kit. All you need are some really simple things that you can find at any craft store or grocery store or anything like that. So the first one is you're just going to need some string, plain and simple. Any type of thin string will work, but elastic string works best. You can see this has some stretch to it. And then you'll just need some pony beads. You'll just need 2 different colors of pony beads, and you'll be using 8 in total. So the first thing we'll want to do is we'll want to look at the chart that tells us which letter corresponds to which binary number. So you'll find the letter that you want to code on your bracelet. So for example, I'm going to do H today for 4H. So I see here that H is 1 0 0 1 0 0 0. So I'll pick one color of bead to represent a 1, so that's going to be green for me. And then I'll pick another color of bead to be the 0, so that'll be white for me. The first thing we'll do is we'll fold the string in half and just tie a knot at the top. So when we do this, you should have a little loop at the top and then 2 strings hanging down. And then we'll start putting our beads on. So because H starts with a 1, we'll put a green bead on first because that was our 1. So you'll just thread the bead through, or thread the string through the bead, And then you'll take the other string and push it through the bead in the opposite direction. So you'll have an X through the bead with your string. Then you'll just pull that all the way down. And then we'll do the next bead. So the next bead is a 0, so we'll take a white bead. And it's the exact same thing. Put the string through one, and then put the other string through the opposite direction. And pull down. And so we'll just continue to follow the pattern. And once you're done, you might have to tug on it a little bit and straighten out the beads. But you should have something that looks like this when you're done. So a bracelet, and if you read it from left to right, you'll have 1 0 0 1 0 0. And that stands for H. So then we just tie a knot in it at the end. Take the 2 strings and just tie a simple knot at the end. And then you can have someone tie it around your wrist. So what is binary? We just made our binary bracelet, but we haven't talked about what it is. Binary is a number system. It's just a way to count. So the number system we all use is called the decimal number system. And we have 10 digits. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Binary is a counting system that only has 2 digits, 0 and 1. So when we count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we go to 10, or 1, 0. So why is that important? We've talked about this number system, but what does it matter? Well, computers can only use zeros and ones to store information. And so we have to use this binary number system to represent any kind of data that a computer stores. So the chart we use today is originally part of the ASCII, or the American Standard Code for Information. It was developed in the 1960s based on the telegraph system, or Morse code. Modern computers use something called Unicode, but they actually took this system and made it the first 128 characters. So anytime you type a key, like the H key on your keyboard, ones and zeros just like this are getting stored on your computer. So we just finished making our binary bead bracelet. Now you can find these kits at all sorts of WVU Extension events, or we have them available on our website. We hope you enjoy making your binary bead bracelet, and we hope you learned a little something about how computers work too.
Do you hear that? I do. It must be Sheldon, and he must be in Mississippi, where he's going to tell us all about Mississippi frog calls.
All right, hello everyone. I am Sheldon Owen, Extension Wildlife Specialist with West Virginia University. And hopefully this summer you've gotten out and explored your backyards or the woods and the lands around your property. But let us not forget that sometimes when we go and travel, that's another great opportunity for us to get out and explore. I'm currently down at my family farm in Smithville, Mississippi, and I've got a little pool that's close to the house, and you can hear in the background several different frog species that are calling. Not all of our frog species occur everywhere, and as you travel not only throughout West Virginia but surrounding areas, you may run into new species that occur in those particular areas. Got some great frogs calling around us tonight. You can hear something that kind of sounds like a dog barking. That's a barking tree frog. You have kind of a low trill, like a low kind of growl, just right here, and that's our gray tree frog. And you may hear a high-pitched meh. Well, that's actually a Fowler's toad calling right there. So a Fowler's toad, a barking tree frog, a gray tree frog. As we listen, hear the little kind of that's a green tree frog calling. So we got 4 different species calling right here, and a high pitch. It sounds like an eastern narrowmouth toad down there. So we'll keep recording for a little bit. We'll walk around. I got my handy dandy headlamp. We'll try to find some of these. Looks like we have a bullfrog calling on the other side as well. So 5, 6 different species calling around us. Let's see if we can't get some video of these guys. All right, here we have a very small southern cricket frog. It's making that call that sounds like you're clanging 2 marbles together. You can also identify this by the triangle. If you look between the eyes, there's the base of the triangle, and it going back towards his back. There's a triangle on his head, and that Y marking that goes down his back. So, if we look up here in the woods, we have 2 green tree frogs that are calling back and forth, 2 of them on either side of the limb. Got a couple of green tree frogs that are calling. Sounds like a gray frog calling right in here above us. In the background, you kind of hear this. It sounds like 2 marbles clanging together. Clank, 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 clank. That's our little southern cricket frog that is calling. There are thousands of those around. And then again, you hear the dog barking. Arr, arr. That's our barking tree frog. Oh. Bang, 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 bang. That's our green tree frog that's calling here. Oh, they're cranking up really loud now. And this sort of trill that we hear right here, that's our gray tree frog that's calling. Maybe you can see up in there and you see the 2. This one's really cranking in there now. See that one on the log, or on the limb? What we've found here is a barking tree frog. See the toe pads there, indicative of a tree frog. You can hear in the distance this thing calling. Another cool find here in northeast Mississippi. So every opportunity you get, go out and try to find what may be out there. All right, in this area we've got a green tree frog calling. I think I hear a fowler's toad calling, a high-pitched trill. Kind of like the kind of high-pitched growl, if you will. Right here behind us, that's a green tree frog. I hear another green tree frog over here. Let's see if we can't find something calling over here. Oh, 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 come look at this. All right, let's see if I can do this. You hear our bullfrog calling in the background. But if you can look right here, on this one tree, we have 2 different tree frog species. This one is a barking tree frog. That's the one that sounds like a dog barking, arr, 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 calling around the pond. They'll normally go out into the edge of the water and kind of blow up, swell up really loud and start calling from the water. So they don't normally call from the trees. Now right in front of it is a green tree frog. So they're both probably calling or trying to find an area to call from the same area. This one, kind of that little that you hear in the background, that's the green tree frog calling. If you look at our barking tree frog here, you can see the sort of the darker spots on its back. You can tell by its call, or those darker spots, is a little bit larger than our green tree frog here. Our green tree frog has kind of that white line that goes from its eye down its side, and a different call. But both of these are tree frogs. If you look at their toes, you see those little toe pads, and they can crawl up on limbs and crawl up into trees. All right, so here's the barking tree frog. You see those kind of white spots here and these little darker spots on its back. It doesn't have, it's kind of like a little yellowish, brownish line down its side. This is the one that sounds like a dog barking out there in the edge of the wood. You can kind of hear one every now and then in the background. I'm gonna put this one back. You can really see those toe pads, maybe. You see those toe pads? It's amazing how grippy they are, how strong they are, kind of pulling against my hand. But I'm gonna put this one back on the limb. Hopefully it doesn't jump, it just kind of hangs out there on the limb. And then I'll capture the green tree frog. So you can take a look at this one. Oh, very strong, pulling awful hard there to try to get out. They're slick, my hands are wet to hold on to them. But this is the green tree frog. And you can hear its call in the back. They kind of... And I hear a bullfrog in the background hollering at us. All right, now I'm gonna put this little guy back. So look at that. Oh, he jumped off. But 2 tree frogs right here on one limb. What an excellent find. This is a great night. So you can still hear frogs calling all around us. I'm sweating. It's nice and hot and humid down here in Mississippi. Tonight we've heard or found 11 different frog species, frog and toad species. So it's an amazing little pool of water here, just right out in the backyard of my parents' place down here in Smithville, Mississippi. So it's just a great opportunity when you're visiting other places, your friends or family, when you're out, go out at night and listen and see what you can find. Take you a headlamp or a flashlight and just see what kind of cool critters are out there on the landscape. 11 frogs and toad species in this one little pool. What a great night.
Hey friends, did you like the frogs? It's really interesting. The one that sounds like a dog barking. Some of them remind me of like alien sounds. Beep, 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 beep. Anyways, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next week on another Energy Express. Have a great weekend.